Hey, Joy Seekers, welcome back to Find the Joy with Jen. Today's episode is a deeply personal and very special one to me because I am celebrating my 20th wedding anniversary with Eric. Yes, 20 years. And I want to share a little bit of our journey, not just as a tribute to him, but as a message of hope for each of you. If you have gone through divorce and you're wondering if a joyful, lasting marriage is possible for you, I am here to tell you that it absolutely is. And if you're in a marriage right now that feels hard, maybe even hanging on by a thread, I want you to know it is worth it to keep fighting, to keep choosing each other, and to keep inviting God into your relationship every single day. Our story has not been perfect. No marriage is. It has been beautifully worth it. I hope that as I share some of the lessons that I've learned, the struggles that we've worked through, and the joys that we've celebrated, you'll feel inspired to believe in the possibility of a love that lasts and grows deeper with time. On July 9th, 2005, I married Eric Zingmark, a pivotal day in my life. We got married in Charleston, South Carolina at White Point Garden in a beautiful white gazebo in the middle of Battery Park, surrounded by our children and our closest family and friends. It was a hot day, typical of July in South Carolina. Just 1 hour before I would step foot outside my hotel room into the beautiful white horse-drawn carriage that would take me and my little ring bearer and my two little bridesmaids, my children, down the brick and cobblestone streets of Charleston to the picturesque spot where we would make our vows. The sky opened up into a horrific summer thunderstorm. When we heard the thunder and lightning and the pouring rain, I gathered my daughter and my stepdaughter and my little son around me. We were all dressed in our beautiful white clothes and we knelt in prayer in the hotel room and prayed that the storm would end before we got into the carriage to go down the street for the ceremony. When the driver stepped to the door, holding the umbrella for me to walk out under, I held my breath and I continued to pray that the rain would not ruin our beautiful day. And as the beautifully decorated Cinderella style carriage slowly strolled down the street towards the park, the rain slowed and then it turned to drizzle and then it completely faded away. And when the carriage reached the park and I stepped out of the carriage, it was dry. I never felt a drop of rain that day. This was a second marriage for both of us, and our children comprised our wedding party. We knew that we were undertaking a huge commitment, blending our families and endeavoring to build a family and a successful life together after we had both lost so much and gone through difficult divorces. Still, we both felt God's blessing on our union, and we put our trust in Him and we made our sacred vows that day. Now, I actually feel fortunate that I started this marriage with experience and wisdom. I had learned so much about what it takes to make a marriage work, and probably even more importantly, so much about myself and what I wanted my family to be like, and how I wanted to communicate, how I wanted to show up in my relationship. And I knew I was responsible for my experience in this marriage. When I met Eric, he was different from any other man I had ever known. He was not who I thought I would marry. He was a little younger than me and more reserved. He was confident but humble. I couldn't put my finger on it. He was very handsome and smart and strong, but not in a domineering way. And he wasn't intimidated by me and my strength at all. He was a gentleman raised by faithful, loving parents, and he also grew up in South Carolina. He had a strong faith and a commitment to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And fortunately, he loved children, especially mine. And he shared my dream of creating a beautiful new family together. Our romance was a whirlwind of less than 12 months from the day we met until the day we were married. And this week on July 9th, we celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. As I've rewatched our wedding video, which I'm sharing on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out, my heart is full as I remember the excitement and the joy that we all felt that day. I cannot get through this video without crying when I look at our young children who were also so excited for this new adventure to join our families and start a new life together. We were all so full of optimism and hope and a commitment for a better life together. I remember one of my sister-in-laws asking me if we were always this happy together. And at that time, we really were. We definitely experienced our fair share of trials and struggles, heated arguments, the silent treatment, and then reuniting with love and humility as we both put aside our strong wills and turned to the Lord for help in our most difficult times. As we like to say, we have a lot of passion and it goes both ways. We were actually set up on a blind date with another couple for our first date. And Eric asked me for my phone number at the end of that date, and I wouldn't give it to him until I found out if he had a current temple recommend. Now, I'm not saying this is what everyone should do, but for me and where I was in my life at that time, I just wasn't willing to give him my number unless I knew that for certain. I wasn't even willing to consider dating someone who didn't have a love and a commitment to worshiping in the temple like I did. So I told him no, and I didn't give him my phone number. Within the next couple of weeks, I went to the temple, and there he was, walking around the lobby. So after worshiping in the temple that day, I gave him my phone number and we started dating, and the rest is history. Because Eric and I were both married before, we had to wait 1 year before we could be sealed in the temple. This was a difficult thing for us to accept. But 1 year later, on July 11th, 2006, we were sealed in the Columbia, South Carolina temple. I had visions of recreating our wedding day and wearing my beautiful wedding dress. But our little love child had a different plan, and I was actually 7.5 months pregnant on that day. But it only added to our joy as we were sealed for time and all eternity. What I love most about this is that serving and worshiping in the temple was a foundation of our relationship as we just started dating and getting to know each other. And it has been the most uniting, healing, helpful thing that we have done together over the last 20 years. Now we have the privilege of serving together as ordinance workers, and it is still healing and blessing our lives every week. We didn't start off like typical newlyweds with just each other. We started off with a family of six, with my three children from my first marriage and his daughter from his previous marriage. And then we had our baby together. That was 18 years ago, and we actually just dropped her off at college last week, and we are now entering a new era of our relationship, empty nesting. This is the first time in our relationship where we will live alone with just each other, without children at home. It's exciting and thrilling, and it's also different. So we are going to explore this new era together. For those of you who listen to the podcast regularly, you know I don't hide the fact or pretend that we didn't have all the typical struggles of a second marriage and a blended family. We've had legal battles dealing with child support and alimony and visitation issues. We've dealt with exes and former in-laws and all the typical complications of a blended family. We both are step parents and we've both experienced the challenges that come along with that. I don't think we are unique or special in that way. I believe that any marriage can be successful if both people are determined to make that happen. Trust me, there have been many times along the way that we could have called it quits and gone our separate ways. We both have a commitment to God and to each other that we're just unwilling to let go of. That's what's unique about us. We have experienced so many joyful, beautiful, blessed moments that are even hard to express. Just like simple days at home with our children and our family, watching our kids grow up, enjoying each new milestone that they experience, and seeing them succeed in their lives brings us so much joy. And still, we've also experienced heartbreaking trials, as we have faced career setbacks and business losses. And we've also watched our children make difficult life choices that have broken our hearts at times and caused us countless sleepless nights and hours on our knees praying for them and for us to know how to best support and love and help them through those times. One of the things that I have learned is that I'd much rather deal with toddler tantrums or teenage attitudes than adult children just whose choices break your heart. If you know us, you know that we are very different, even opposites in many ways. But the things that we have in common are vitally essential to us: our faith and our commitment to each other and our family, and to give each other grace and forgiveness every day. Throughout it all, we have learned to trust God above all else and to come together instead of pulling apart when times get hard. We've definitely gotten help from therapists and bishops and loving, supportive family and friends. Not a day goes by that I don't look at Eric and say, "Thank you, God. Thank you, God, that I am doing this with him. And thank God that I am not doing this alone like so many single parents do." Parenthood is incredibly rewarding, but it's also tough. And in so many ways, it exhausts you and tries your patience and drains your energy and even your anger management skills and tests you and your wisdom. It is such a blessing to have a partner to share this burden and blessing with. This marriage and family and our children, all of it is such a gift and a blessing from God to be treasured and protected. The family unit is worth fighting for. I believe in it, and I know that it's God's plan of happiness for us in this life and beyond. I am deeply grateful for the love and commitment that has united us, and for the fact that we have continued to grow and build and strengthen it for 20 years now. I want to say to any men or women out there who have gone through divorce that you may feel like there isn't hope for happiness for you again. I want you to know this is where the pot of gold is. This is where true joy and, yes, pain and heartache and work come from, but there is no greater joy than that one relationship with your spouse, that person that you share everything with. This is worth fighting for. It's worth working for. It is the thing that matters most. Finding that person that you share your life with and then committing and growing together with that person. There isn't a more intimate relationship than you can have than that one with your spouse. That person that you have that deep, intimate, spiritual, emotional, physical, and sexual connection with. It takes all of it to make a beautiful, full, complete relationship, and not the kind in rom-com movies, okay? The kind that is real. Yes, there are wonderful, beautiful, romantic days when everything is lovely and it feels just right, and maybe they leave a rose on your pillow or in your car with a sweet note of appreciation. But still, there's a deeper connection of knowing a person so intimately and caring for their welfare and safety more than your own. And as complex and challenging as these relationships are, it is worth it. The blessings and the joy that come from sharing your life with this person are so much greater than you can imagine. It's having a person to rub your feet when you're tired, or cook dinner when you're just too exhausted, or call you out when you're even in a bad mood. But they're also quick to apologize and give you a hug after an argument. Nothing in my life has been as challenging or fulfilling to me as this relationship. This is it. It is our relationship and the goodness that stems from the beauty and the love that we share and our children and now our grandchildren that makes life worth living. And it all started on this day, all those years ago. Something so good. I am so grateful that we have made it this far and that we continue to grow together. I encourage anyone listening to do the same. You can do this in your life. Don't give up if your heart has been broken and you're discouraged and you feel like it's impossible for you. It is. Keep looking and partner with the Lord in your search. Get out of your comfort zone. Put yourself out there in new environments and new situations. Join a book club or a running club or take dance lessons or start playing pickleball. Put yourself out there and start meeting new people, but stay open minded. Maybe the person you meet isn't exactly who you thought you were looking for, but just stay open minded. And if it doesn't work out, keep trying. And if you're struggling with forgiving and letting go of your past, if you're dealing with a lot of the complications that come after divorce and you want help with that, come and work with me. Let me help you work on yourself. Do the work on yourself that is preventing you from being open to a bigger and better life that God has in store for you. Don't be afraid of getting help from a coach or therapist or both. Put your effort and your energy into growing into a better version of yourself and building a more solid foundation in yourself. You will attract people who also have a solid foundation. And if you're married, and especially if you have children, this is a reminder that it is worth giving it your all. If both people are still committed and willing to do the work to come together and overcome whatever challenges or struggles you're dealing with, don't give up. As I always tell my clients, be very selective when you choose someone to marry, but then love your choice every day after that. Love the choice you made and keep on choosing your spouse every day. Think highly of your spouse. Choose to see the best in them. Always assume they have the best intentions and you will have a better relationship. But give them a lot of grace. Be 100% honest with them. Speak your truth, but do it with kindness. And in those times and moments when you inevitably forget all that you know about communication, recover quickly and apologize even quicker. Learn how to meet your own needs and don't expect someone else to do that for you. And then look to your spouse for ways to create joy together. It is an investment, just like anything worthwhile. It takes commitment and dedication. And I'm so grateful that we both have that. And we're continuing to choose each other and make this life as amazing as it can be. Eric Zingmark, thank you for choosing me on July 9th, 2005, and every day since then. As we embark on this new chapter as empty nesters and starting the second half of our lives, I am so excited for what is in store for both of us and the fabulous things that we can do and create together. Thank you for meeting me in that beautiful, picturesque white gazebo in Battery Park, Charleston, South Carolina, 20 years ago on July 9th, and for walking next to me ever since. Thank you for being my biggest fan, cheerleader, IT specialist, social media consultant, web developer, and so much more. You are a devoted husband and father, and I'm so grateful that the Lord brought us together and that you are my partner, my lover, and my friend. Happy anniversary, my love. And for anyone else listening, thank you for letting me share this personal message this week. I just couldn't let this huge milestone in my life pass without sharing my thoughts and feelings about it. If you're divorced and you're wondering if there is another chapter for you, I want you to know there is. Don't give up on love. And if you're married and struggling, I promise you, it is worth it to keep showing up, keep fighting for each other, and keep choosing love, even when it's hard. I believe with all my heart that God wants us to have joyful, thriving relationships, and He will walk with us as we do the work to create them. If you feel called to strengthen your marriage, whether it's strong today or it feels fragile, I want to personally invite you to join my new course, How to Divorce Proof Your Marriage According to a Divorce Expert. It isn't just a course, it is a powerful faith based workshop filled with real tools and lasting truth that I have personally learned in my own relationship and with helping many, many others through the years. You will learn 8 transformational principles, watch a training video, receive a downloadable challenge guide to help you apply each concept in real life. Whether you're newlyweds or decades in, this course will help you deepen your connection, improve your communication, and grow together with God at the center of your relationship. If you're ready to protect what matters most, this is your next step, and you can find the link in the show notes or head over to my website, findthejoywithjen.com. Thank you so much for being here with me today, friends, and for celebrating this huge milestone and for continuing to seek joy in every season. I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.